Think about the last time you truly tasted your food, not just swallowed it, not just cleared your plate, but sat quietly, chewed slowly, and let each bite carry presence, nourishment, and peace. If you're like most of us, that probably hasn't happened in a while. Life got fast. Meals became automatic. And somewhere along the way, we forgot one of the simplest and most powerful tools for health: chewing. Not gulping, not rushing, not finishing fast, but chewing deeply, mindfully, and fully. It seems so basic that we don't give it much thought. But after the age of 60, how well you chew may quietly shape how well you digest, how clearly you think, how light or heavy your belly feels after meals, and even how well your memory holds on. Because chewing is not just about breaking down food, it's about activating your brain, calming your nervous system, protecting your gut, and honoring your body's natural rhythm. And yet, most seniors chew too little, too quickly, or without presence. Not because we don't care, but because no one ever told us how important it still is. This video isn't about rules or restrictions. It's about returning to something gentle, something wise, something powerful that you've had with you all along. So today we're going to take a quiet journey back to the basics and rediscover why chewing, when done with intention, might be the forgotten key to aging with ease, energy, and clarity. Your mouth may be small, but what it starts can nourish every part of your body. Let's begin. Part 1. Why chewing matters more after 60 than ever before. The first step of digestion is also the most forgotten. For much of your life, chewing was automatic. You bit, chewed a few times, and moved on without thinking. But as we age, the systems that once worked in the background begin to slow. Stomach acid becomes weaker. Digestive enzymes are less abundant. Muscles that move food through your intestines become slower. Your body becomes more sensitive to large, unbroken food particles, and nutrient absorption becomes more fragile and selective. This means the first step of digestion, chewing, suddenly becomes the most important. Because if food enters your stomach poorly chewed, your body can't break it down effectively. And when digestion is incomplete, you may experience gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation or diarrhea, food sitting heavy in the belly, less energy after eating, brain fog or mental fatigue. These symptoms are often blamed on age, medication, or just getting old, but they're sometimes simply the result of chewing too little, too fast. After 60, your stomach needs help, and that help begins in your mouth. When you chew, something amazing happens. Saliva begins to break down carbohydrates with enzymes like amylase. Signals are sent to your stomach to start producing acid. Your pancreas begins releasing digestive enzymes. Your gallbladder prepares bile for fat digestion. Your intestines begin to shift into a relaxed, receptive state. All of this coordination depends on chewing, and the longer, slower, and more complete your chewing is, the smoother the rest of the digestive process becomes. Think of it this way. If you skip the first chapter of a book, the rest won't make as much sense. If you skip chewing, your stomach is left guessing. What changes in the body make chewing more necessary now? After 60, several physiological shifts happen. Saliva production decreases, especially if you take certain medications like blood pressure or allergy drugs. Stomach acid, HCl, lowers, reducing your ability to kill bacteria and break down proteins. Enzyme activity in the gut slows, especially if you eat processed food or have a history of indigestion. Tooth loss or poor dental health makes chewing more difficult, so you might chew less, unconsciously. Muscles of digestion weaken, meaning food stays in your stomach longer and ferments more easily. Your gut lining becomes more sensitive, leading to discomfort when food isn't properly broken down. In other words, the same bite of food that caused no problem at 40 might now cause bloating or brain fog at 70, simply because it wasn't chewed enough. When you chew slowly, you're not just helping your gut, you're helping your nervous system. Slow chewing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest mode. This helps lower blood pressure, slow the heart rate, improve focus and clarity, reduce stress hormones like cortisol, make eating feel calm and satisfying instead of rushed or pressured. When meals are rushed or chewed poorly, the sympathetic nervous system takes over instead. Your body stays tense, digestion is incomplete, you absorb fewer nutrients, and your body thinks it's in survival mode, not nourishment mode. Chewing is a signal to your body you're safe. It's time to rest. It's time to receive. Chewing is not just a mechanical act, it's a message to your gut. I'll make this easier for you. It's a message to your brain. Slow down. There's no rush. It's a message to your whole body. We're not just eating to survive anymore. We're eating to support, to heal, to remember how to feel good again. So the next time you take a bite, don't swallow it to move on. Let it sit, let it soften, let your body catch up. Because at this stage in life, how you eat is just as important as what you eat, and it all begins with one forgotten secret. Chew. More, gently, slowly, fully. Part 2: How chewing improves digestion and prevents common gut issues. The first step that saves you from the most common digestive troubles after 60. For many seniors, digestive issues become an uncomfortable part of daily life. You may feel bloated after eating, heavy or sleepy post meal, constipated one day and rushing to the bathroom the next, gassy even after simple meals, or like your food just sits in your belly for hours. And yet, most people immediately look to medications, diets, or supplements while completely overlooking one of the simplest, most powerful changes available: chewing more. Why chewing is so critical for digestion, especially in older adults. Let's look at what happens when you chew thoroughly versus when you don't. When you chew thoroughly, your saliva enzymes like amylase start breaking down carbohydrates right in your mouth. The food becomes softer and smaller, putting less stress on the stomach and intestines. You stimulate stomach acid and digestive enzymes naturally without pills. The brain gets a signal to slow the body and activate digestion through the vagus nerve. The stomach receives a gentler, pre-processed meal, so it doesn't have to overwork. The risk of gas, bloating, indigestion, reflux, and constipation is lowered. When you chew poorly or eat too fast, large chunks of food reach the stomach, which can't grind them properly. Undigested particles move into the small intestine, causing fermentation, gas, and bloating. The stomach produces too much acid to compensate, leading to reflux or heartburn. The intestines have to fight harder to absorb nutrients, causing fatigue after meals. Stool becomes inconsistent, either too hard, constipation, or too fast, diarrhea. The gut lining becomes inflamed over time due to irritation from poorly broken down food. If you don't chew your food, your gut becomes the blender, and it was never meant to be. Let's take a closer look at common digestive issues in older adults and how chewing can reduce or prevent them. 1. Bloating and gas. Poorly chewed food takes longer to break down, and undigested carbs ferment in the gut, producing uncomfortable gas. Chewing tip: break down food completely in your mouth to reduce fermentation in the colon. 2. Acid reflux. Swallowing large bites can overload the stomach, increase acid production, and push contents upward. Chewing tip: chew slowly to trigger gentle enzyme release instead of acid overproduction. 3. Constipation. Big dry chunks move more slowly through the intestines, pulling water and causing blockages. Chewing tip: moist, well-chewed food helps maintain regular, soft bowel movements. 4. Post-meal fatigue or brain fog. If your gut is overworking, your energy and blood flow are pulled away from your brain, making you feel heavy, sleepy, or confused. Chewing tip: lighten your gut's workload by pre-digesting with your teeth and saliva. Another gentle benefit of chewing more: you naturally eat less, but feel more satisfied. Here's why. Chewing gives your brain time, around 15 to 20 minutes, to register fullness. You enjoy the taste and texture of food more, which reduces the urge to overeat. Slower eating helps regulate blood sugar better, reducing afternoon crashes. It's not a diet, it's awareness. It's giving your body and brain time to talk before you reach for seconds. Many seniors believe their digestion is just bad now, but in truth, it may not be broken. It may just be rushed. Chewing more isn't about changing what you eat. It's about changing how you eat. Because when you chew well, your gut says, "Thank you. I can handle this. You've made my job easier." And when your gut feels lighter, your whole day does too. Part 3: The surprising link between chewing and brain health. How every bite you take may be nourishing more than just your body. When we talk about chewing, most people think of digestion. They imagine the stomach, intestines, and gut bacteria. And yes, chewing does help all of those things. But here's something most people don't realize. Chewing is also a brain exercise, one that becomes more important, not less, as we grow older. Each time you chew, you activate the trigeminal nerve, one of the major nerves that connects your jaw muscles to your brain. That activation increases blood flow to key areas of the brain, including the prefrontal cortex for decision making, the hippocampus for memory, the brainstem for coordination and balance. In fact, studies showing stimulates cerebral blood flow by up to 25%, especially important in seniors where circulation to the brain naturally decreases over time. Chewing isn't just a digestive motion, it's brain maintenance. As people age, many naturally begin to chew less due to tooth loss, denture use, jaw tension, a tendency to eat soft or processed foods, rushed meals without focus. Over time, reduced chewing can lead to less oxygen and blood flow to the brain, weakened jaw muscles, which reduce nerve stimulation, a subtle decline in attention, clarity, and recall. And while no single factor causes cognitive decline, the lack of daily sensory activation like chewing can quietly accelerate it. The brain is like a garden. If you stop watering it with movement and stimulation, things start to wither. Recent neurological studies have found that people with full chewing ability score higher on memory and focus tests. Loss of teeth and chewing strength is linked to a greater risk of dementia. Mindful chewing activates the same areas used in short-term recall and learning. One Japanese study found that seniors who chewed more thoroughly during meals had stronger cognitive function even when compared to others of similar age and health. Why? Because chewing increases sensory input to the brain, improves neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt, lowers stress, which is known to impair memory, encourages mindfulness, which strengthens attention span. You've probably seen someone chew gum when they're nervous, not a coincidence. The act of chewing soothes the limbic system, emotional brain, lowers cortisol levels, stress hormone, provides rhythmic feedback to the nervous system similar to walking or rocking, grounds your attention in the present moment. For seniors who feel scattered, foggy, or overwhelmed, slow chewing can be a form of meditation. When you chew slowly, you return to your body and your mind follows. Practical tips to support brain health through chewing. Choose firmer foods when possible. Steamed carrots, lightly toasted bread, soft apples. Chew on both sides of your mouth to engage both hemispheres of the brain. Pause between bites, allowing your brain time to register texture and flavor. Smile gently while chewing. It relaxes facial muscles and adds positive emotional association. Avoid distractions while eating. No TV, phone, or rushing this. This isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about choosing to be present with your plate and with your thoughts. You don't need crossword puzzles or brain training apps to keep your mind alive. Sometimes all it takes is a plate of real food, a quiet moment, and the choice to chew slowly, deeply, with full attention. Because in that simple act, your brain receives stimulation, circulation, connection, and peace. Chewing is the bridge between nourishment and awareness, and the slower you cross it, the more of your mind you bring with you. Part 4, Simple Tips to Reclaim the Power of Chewing. Small shifts that lead to better digestion, sharper focus, and a calmer body. By now, you've seen how powerful something as simple as chewing can be. Not just for your digestion, not just for your memory, but for your sense of peace, presence, and overall well-being. The best part, you don't need to overhaul your diet. You just need to slow down and shift how you eat what you already have. Below are gentle, effective tips to help you chew better without stress, pressure, or rigid rules. 1. Put your fork or spoon down between bites. One of the most powerful things you can do is this simple gesture. After you take a bite, put your utensil down. This stops the assembly line of rushing the next bite, allows your brain time to register flavor and fullness, frees your hands to focus on chewing, not preparing. Eating isn't a race, it's a relationship, and relationships grow with space. 2. Aim for 15 to 30 chews per bite, but don't count rigidly. Many experts suggest chewing each bite 30 times. That may feel unnatural at first, especially with soft foods. Instead of counting every time, use this as a guide. Chew soft foods like rice or eggs about 15 times. Chew firmer foods like meat or vegetables closer to 25 to 30 times. Chew until the food becomes almost liquid or easily swallowed. If you lose count, don't worry. The goal is slowness, not math. 3. Choose foods that encourage natural chewing. If your diet is mostly soft or processed food, your jaw and brain don't get much stimulation. Try adding lightly steamed vegetables, fresh fruits like apples or pears, toasted whole grain bread, roasted nuts or seeds if you can chew comfortably, brown rice or quinoa instead of mashed potatoes. These foods naturally ask you to slow down and your body thanks you for it. 4. Avoid multitasking while eating. Chewing requires focus, not intensity, but presence. When you eat while watching TV, scrolling your phone, talking on the phone, standing or walking around, you chew less, you swallow faster, you miss the opportunity to connect with your food and your body. Try this instead. Sit down at the table, take a breath before your first bite, chew in silence or with soft music or gentle conversation. Make one meal per day your mindful meal, even if it's just 10 minutes. When your mind is still, your digestion flows, and so does your clarity. 5. Be gentle with yourself, especially if you have dental or jaw issues. If you wear dentures, have missing teeth, or experience jaw discomfort, chewing more might feel frustrating at first. That's okay. Here's what you can do. Opt for soft yet textured foods like well-cooked lentils, baked apples, or mashed sweet potatoes with skin. Use smaller bites so you chew more without stress. Alternate sides of your mouth to avoid fatigue. If needed, consult your dentist to improve your chewing function or fit tests. Even gentle chewing is better than rushing and swallowing whole. Uh, you don't have to chew like you did at 30, you just have to chew with care, like the wise soul you are now. 6. End each meal with a quiet pause. After your last bite, sit still for just a moment. No rushing to the sink, no rushing to clean. Let your body register the meal. Let your breath settle. Let gratitude rise silently. This signals your nervous system. The meal is done. You are nourished. All is well. It helps your digestion complete, your brain calm, and your day feel just a little more whole. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to memorize complicated steps. You just need to return to the simplicity you were born with. One bite, one breath, one slow chew at a time. Because every meal is a chance to nourish more than just your body. It's a chance to honor the rhythm, the wisdom, and the quiet strength that lives within you. You've spent a lifetime feeding others, cooking for families, rushing through lunches, skipping bites between responsibilities, doing everything except slowing down enough to truly receive. But now in this season of life, you are finally allowed not to rush, not to get through meals, but to receive your nourishment slowly, gently, fully. And it begins with the simplest motion, chewing. Not because it's trendy, not because someone told you to, but because your body, your digestion, your memory, and your peace all whisper the same thing. Slow down. Stay present. Let me do this well. Each bite you chew is not just about digestion. It's a message to yourself. I am worth caring for. I am not in a hurry anymore. I am still here, alive, aware, and capable of healing. At this age, you don't need more rules. You need rhythm, you need softness, and you need practices that carry wisdom in every movement. So let chewing be that for you. Let it bring peace to your meals, clarity to your mind, and kindness to your aging process. Because the quieter you chew, the more your body hears and the more your soul remembers what it feels like to be nourished. Uh, if this gentle reminder brought you peace, like this video if you believe slow meals are sacred. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their body still deserves care. Subscribe to True Senior Wisdom for weekly healing insights on living well, aging gently, and rediscovering joy in the quietest parts of life. Your next bite is waiting, not to be swallowed, but to be honored. Chew well, live well. You've earned it.